The Harvard International Review is a quarterly journal and website of international relations published by the Harvard International Relations Council at Harvard University. On April 29th, the HIR launched the Harvard International Review's 35th anniversary book, which compiles 35 years of original contributions to the HIR from 49 leaders in international relations, including 3 UN Secretaries General, 7 Nobel Peace Prize laureates, 4 Nobel Economic Prize laureates, and 11 heads of state. In the nearly 300-page anniversary book, new analysis takes the words of 49 of the most influential players in international relations, places them in historical context, and critically and academically analyzes the claims made. The event was elegantly organized by current editors-in-chief Neha Dalal and James Watkin, and was attended by current HIR members, HIR alums, as well as by Prof David Laibson, a professor at Harvard University well known for his work on behavioral economics and an alum of the HIR. This is a special report put together by the Foundations TV, an online media company spreading inspiration through awareness. It includes glimpses of the event and interviews with Professor David Laibson, as well as with Neha Dalal, the co-editor-in-chief.
Welcome to Foundations TV, everybody. This is Gauri here on location at the Harvard University. We are here covering an event which is in celebration of the 35th anniversary of the Harvard International Review. And we have with us a guest here, Professor David Laibson, who is also an author who has a piece on the book. And he is a professor here at Harvard. So please tell us, welcome to Foundations TV, first of all.
Thanks very much.
It's great to have you. So tell us something about what you teach.
So I'm a behavioral economist. That means I'm in the economics department, and I teach that part of economics that tries to incorporate both classical economic factors like financial incentives and psychological factors like procrastination, self-control problems, imperfect rationality, concern for others. We put it all together and we get a more realistic model of human behavior.
Wonderful. And where is this model used?
So it's used both in the academic realm, but also in the practical realm. So firms now are using all of these new behavioral insights to try to connect with their consumers, to try to motivate their employees. For example, in the benefits world, it's used a lot. When we think about how to get American households to save more for retirement, well, you can incent them with a match payment. Doesn't work that well. Or you can just automatically enroll them in the 401k plan and give them the opportunity to opt out. Well, when you automatically enroll them, you drive the participation rate up to 90%. When you offer a match, you drive it to 50% only without automatic enrollment. So we're using all of these psychological techniques to help people get where they want to be, for example, saving for retirement.
So is this like something, do you factor in the global aspects as well? Are you working with different countries?
Absolutely. So this is happening all over the world right now. In fact, one of the leading places it's happening is in the United Kingdom, where the Behavioral Insights team is in the government and is actually doing this in a very active and formal way as part of the government's efforts. And there are now similar units like that developing all around the world, in Singapore, in Australia, in Israel. So everyone's getting in the game, and the US is also doing it.
And tell us something about your piece in the book today.
So I wrote the piece during my first year at Harvard back in 1984 in the first semester of the 84-85 academic year. It was on China, and boy, was that an exciting moment, because the world hadn't yet figured out that what was happening in China was going to be completely globally transformative. And we were just beginning to put the pieces together and understand that the reforms were growing in number and growing in importance and were supported by the leadership in a very solid way, and they were increasingly becoming unreversible. So it was the very beginning of the miracle that is the Chinese growth experiment that has now gone on ever since the late 1970s, a just torrent of economic growth and rising prosperity, and critically, reduction in poverty. When you think about the greatest anti-poverty program the world has ever known, it's the growth miracle in China.
So when you do studies like these, do you also factor in some historical facts or about other countries or things that have happened before that, similar with other countries?
Right, so that wasn't the point of that piece, but certainly the Chinese experience has lots of precedents in countries that basically are adopting the wrong rules, and then they start to endorse all of the fundamental ingredients of the growth model. So they become open to trade, they adopt property rights, they encourage markets, they basically liberalize. And that economic liberalization is explosively productive, even for countries that are still authoritarian. So you don't need necessarily democracy to get the economic growth. I'm going to certainly say a democracy is a good thing, but China did it without democratizing. And other countries have also had these kinds of explosive growth epics without simultaneously liberalizing their political systems. So, Vietnam comes to mind now as another example. Singapore is an example. Now that's a essentially fully democratic country, but their growth experience over the last 50 years began without very strong democratic institutions.
So you, of course, I can sense that you see a growth in this area from an academic standpoint, that there is going to be a lot more studies happening in this area, in this domain. Do you see that effect
It's already a very active area. Trying to understand what drives economic growth is one of the most intense and active and exciting parts of economics, and it has been for decades.
So just with the newer generation coming in of students, do you see any trending or any certain specific differences from earlier on?
Absolutely. Well, there's more and more interest over the last 20 or 30 years in the developing world, a recognition that there's so much important work to be done in understanding growth, not just in Europe and the US and in Japan, or in a small number of developed countries, but in the rest of the world where there is so much poverty and so much suffering, and we want to understand how to alleviate a lot of that suffering. And it turns out that growing 8% a year for 30 or 40 years makes an enormous difference. And we would all love to see the kind of success that China's had copied in other places. Everyone's rooting for India to be the next China.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks very much.
And I look forward to hearing you. Welcome to Foundations TV, everybody. This is Gauri on location at the Harvard International Review 35th year anniversary celebration, and there has been a book that has been launched today, and we have with us the co-editor-in-chief Neha Dalal, and she has done a phenomenal job. We just witnessed the release of the book, and absolutely wonderful talks that were presented here today. So congratulations, Neha.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for covering this event.
Absolutely a pleasure. So how do you feel?
I think we're absolutely thrilled. This has been a 3-year work, and it also builds upon the work that our staff has done in the last 35 years. And I think it's just really exciting to be here, to have this finished product, and to be able to reflect on everything that the Harvard International Review has accomplished in the last 35 years, and to be able to look at what some of these great leaders have contributed to our magazine, from Bill Clinton to the Dalai Lama to Nelson Mandela, and just put it all together and have this really great set of snapshots of 35 years of international relations.
It is a wonderful product indeed. Now, my question to you is, though, what was your criteria for picking out the content? Because there's a variety of content. There's history, there's economics, there's a lot of different aspects to it. So what was your criteria?
So this was actually a really long and hard process. Early on, we decided we would have 35 different articles for a 35-year history. Then it became very hard because we had some really great people. And how do you choose between someone like Benazir Bhutto and Dick Cheney? It's a hard choice to make. So I think ultimately what we tried to do is we tried to have a comprehensive spread, looking at every single decade that the HR has been around from, so the 1980s, the 1990s, 2000, and the 2010s, but also get a variety of different perspectives. So we have our Nobel Peace Prize laureates, we have our Nobel Economic Prize laureates, we have our Secretary Generals of the United Nations, we have our heads of state. And we have people not just from the West, but also from the East, from Asia, from Russia, from South America. We tried to get a very, very diverse group. And really, I guess we were looking at who were the thinkers and shakers that have written for the HR, and who really best represents what 35 years of international relations are. And I guess it was a really good problem to have, that we had too many great people to choose from. But at the end of the day, these were the 35, and I think it's a really great product, and we're really grateful that they've written for us over the years.
Excellent, excellent. So what's next? Are you working on another project?
So as always, we are continuing to put out magazines. So we just actually released our spring issue, which is on the Arctic. It has some really, really great content in there. We're working on another issue on crime right now. They'll be on shelves in the summer. We have more issues coming out in the future, but I think right now what we're really also trying to do is develop our online presence, develop some more creative stuff. If you go on our website soon, you'll see some videos up, you'll see some more interactive features that we're just very thrilled about. And I think one of the best things that we're working on right now also is just, we have 130-person staff now, and just being able to see all the different avenues that people are able to grow on when we have such a wonderful staff, and when they're all so excited about the project. So there are a lot of great things coming ahead, and yeah, we hope you guys can check them out.
Wonderful. We wish you all the best.
Thank you.